I love Twitter. I have over 100,000 followers on Twitter. I love the medium. It's excellent. I just wish I could pay for these services. But there's no way for me to pay for these services. I can't pay for Google searches or for watching YouTube or using Twitter. The only way I can pay is with my data and with my privacy. And I urge all of you to go and check out these services for once, not as a user, but as a customer. And what that means is that you go to Twitter or Facebook or Google and you buy an ad, because that will open up your eyes. And it will also make you understand how companies like Google can make so much money. Google is right now investing roughly $2 billion every quarter into their data centers. $2 billion, not per year, but per quarter, just into the hardware costs of their data centers. $2 billion. In fact, Google is one of the largest manufacturers of computer servers on the planet, and they don't even sell servers. They are such a large manufacturer because they build so many servers for their own use. So if they invest so much money into their infrastructure, you would think that they would be going bankrupt because their products are free. But of course, they're not going bankrupt. Google's revenues last year were $66 billion. Their profit was $14 billion. If we make a modest assumption that there's 2 billion users of Google, and we divide that 66 billion by 2, we end up with the figure that you made Google $33 of revenue last year. I made Google $33 of revenue. You made them $33, you made them $33, we all did. And I would rather pay them $33 in cash. In fact, I would rather pay them $50, $100. Google would be worth hundreds of bucks a year to me if I could pay, but I can't. And when you go and look at these services as a customer, you go and buy an ad, you end up in this user interface, for example, with Twitter, where you can build a campaign of showing your ads to people who otherwise wouldn't see them. And you can, of course, target your ads. That's how these online ads are so powerful. You can target them. And obviously, you can target them based on geography. You would like to show your ad to people in, I don't know, Lyon. You want to show your ad to people in Lyon who are female, who are between 30 and 40 years old, who use Twitter with, I don't know, an iPhone, and who are interested in, I don't know, cooking. Of course, Twitter can do that for you because they know quite a bit about their users based on what do they tweet about and who do they follow. They know your interests. However, as you build a campaign on Twitter, it gets more interesting because you can start targeting people not just based on what they tweet about. You can target your ads on Twitter based on how many people there are in the family. If you want to show your ads to people who are in a family which has 2 or 3 or 4 children, you can do that. Twitter knows how many kids you have. Or you can target families based on life events. For example, if the family is expecting a new child in the next 6 months. So Google knows and Twitter knows if you're waiting a new child in your family, or if you just got a new child 6 months ago. They can target grandfathers or grandmothers. They can also target the ads based on how much money you make, so Twitter knows how much money you make. Or you can target based on your occupation, whether you are a boss or whether you're in the army. They know that as well. And they can also target the ads based on what kind of credit cards you carry, as well as your lifestyle trend. They know if you're a hipster. I don't know how they do that, but they do. And they also can target based on where you donate money for charities or what kind of purchases you make. I especially liked here the example that you can target your Twitter ads on ladies who buy plus-size clothes. And obviously, this information isn't coming from your tweets. So where is this information then coming from? Twitter doesn't know how much money you make or what kind of breakfast cereal you eat based on your tweets. Yet they have all this information. And they have this information because they buy it from data warehousing companies, from companies that you've never heard of, companies like CPG or Axiom or Datalogics. And they gather this information about consumer behavior by buying this from shops, from credit card companies, from insurance companies, from frequent buyer clubs. Then they combine them into databases and they build these profiles of us based on what we buy. And then they sell this information to companies like Twitter. But we still have a mystery. Then how does Twitter know that this profile of this consumer who carries a MasterCard and likes to buy a lot of Rice Krispies, how do they know that this profile is actually this Twitter user? How do they combine this data? And the answer is they combine that based on your mobile phone number. This is the reason why services like Google and Twitter and Facebook ask for your mobile phone number. That's the key which connects your online profile to your real-world profile. And in fact, one of the reasons why Twitter asked for your mobile phone number is actually security. They ask for your mobile phone number so you can enable two-factor authentication, which actually does give you better security for your Twitter account. But of course, then you lose in privacy. And this also might be one of the reasons why Facebook paid $22 billion to buy WhatsApp. Because they didn't just get this chatting service, they actually got the mobile phone numbers of hundreds of millions of existing Facebook users, which means now they can combine these consumer databases that they can buy to the profiles of the users they already have. And this is why online advertising makes so much money. And this is why it is a real problem of privacy for all of us. It's not a problem that you tweet or you post stuff to Facebook and it becomes public knowledge. Of course it becomes public knowledge because you make it public yourself. But we live our lives online today. Whoever controls the data knows us better than our spouses do. Because they know what we think. For example, with search engines, we are more honest with the search engines than we are with our wives or husbands. We ask search engines the kind of questions we would never dare ask anyone else. Show me your Google search history and I'll find something embarrassing in 15 minutes, guaranteed. Or incriminating. Embarrassing or incriminating in 15 minutes, guaranteed. And this is all legal because of this lie. This is the biggest lie on the internet. I have read the terms and conditions. No, you haven't. Don't lie to me. You haven't. We know you haven't. We actually tested this. Last year, we set up a free Wi-Fi hotspot in London. And to get internet access, you had to click through our terms and conditions. And the terms and conditions we had included a term that you had to give your firstborn child to F-Secure. And everybody clicked OK. Here we go. It's gotten so bad that a friend of mine who actually lives in Germany, when he was filing his taxes, at the end of the online tax filing process, the last question on this governmental form was that, would you like to read the terms and conditions before you confirm that you have read the terms and conditions? And the default was no. So that's how bad it is.